Good morning, and welcome to another episode of It's Complicated, where everything that we talk about here is real life situations, real life scenarios, motivational, hopefully. I hope it motivates everyone. But complicated things in life, where the answers aren't always easy. I am your host, Shin, who is probably as complicated as the name of this podcast. But welcome in. So today's episode is called Unexpecting the Expected. So the reason why I called it that, the reason why I named it that is because a lot of times, we hear people say expect the unexpected, right? But when we expect the unexpected, what is the first thing that we think about? The best outcomes, right? So if you have an event, or if you have something that you have going on and you have doubts in your mind, 9 times out of 10, someone's going to walk up to you and tell you to expect the unexpected. But that gives us a sense of hope when when someone tells us expect the unexpected. Like, let's be real, right? Back in the back of our minds, we're thinking that the best thing is going to happen. And what happens when that doesn't happen? We're crushed. So I called it unexpect the expected because everything that we expect, and I'm not saying everything, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying everything, but there's a lot of things that we expect to happen that don't happen. So if we unexpect that, let's unexpect the expected. So the reason why I say this and what brought this to my attention, right, is because I started the podcast. And of course, a lot of times we think that our friends and our family are going to be the ones to support us the most. Um, I of course don't think that. I think that's just like a common thing for me where I've seen it, I've experienced it. I was posting on Facebook. I posted my podcast on Facebook, on IG, and guess who follows you on those platforms? Everyone knows your friends and family follow you on Facebook and IG. And I would go back and check and see, who watched it, who liked it, hearted it, whatever it may be. And it didn't show too many of my friends and my family. Now I have more followers on Facebook than I do on IG. Of course, Facebook started first, and everyone and their mother is on Facebook. But I have more followers on there than I do IG, and they are friends and family, and maybe a few that I don't know that follow me. And on IG, I don't really have that many followers, but I posted on both of them, and I went back and I looked, and I barely have any likes. I barely have any views. I barely have anything. Now, the normal person, most people would probably get discouraged and upset that their friends and families are not responding the way that they expect them to respond, that aren't supporting them the way that they expected to support them. But we have to get that out the back of our minds. We have to get that out the forefront of our minds. This is 9 times out of 10, it's not going to happen. If you do have a great support system within your family, kudos to you. Kudos to you. It's great to have a great circle. Um, but for me, that wasn't the case. Now, I also didn't expect much. I wasn't expecting the support from them because in the past, history has shown that they don't. They'll look at it, they might not like it, and they might not watch it, they might not comment, but they're also not in your shoes. I don't think a lot of people understand what it's like to be a creator and how important their support matters, or is. The taps, the likes, the comments and things like that, because most people just go on social media to scroll, the average person. Um, but I'm also on TikTok, and I was introduced to TikTok about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago. And that is my biggest platform. That is my biggest platform. I have over 20,000 followers on TikTok. And out of the 20,000, I think you could count on one hand who are friends and family. I'm not gonna say that no one supports me on there because my brother is the one that actually pushed me to go on to TikTok when my daughter was in the hospital. I was bored, y'all. I didn't have anything to do. So I started doing that, and it ended up being a huge success for me. But the unfortunate part is they're all people that I don't know. My biggest support comes from people that don't know me in real life. It bothered me at first. It bothered me at first, but then I was like, well, wait a minute. I can be me. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to filter what I put in here. I don't have to filter who I am. I can just be genuinely raw Shin. And I loved it. I loved it. So when it comes to the three platforms, I expected the lack of support. I expected it. So I didn't really get discouraged when I saw that there was no support on the two other platforms, Facebook and IG. I didn't really get discouraged because I kind of figured that was going to happen. So I expected it. So a lot of times we expect our friends and family, our loved ones, all everyone to support us in these moments, in our wins. We expect them to support us for within our victories, and we don't get that. And I think that a lot of times we quit in those moments because of the lack of support. But I don't use it as a tool to allow me to quit. I use it as a tool of motivation. I use it as a tool of motivation, and I say it is what it is. It doesn't make them less my family at all. At all. They're still my family. You're just not in this world of mine. You're not in this world of mine. And when I make it to the top, you still gonna be my family. You're still gonna be my family. And that's the unfortunate part is a lot of times family and friends want to come around when you made it. When you made it. But when you needed that support, you weren't there. You weren't there. You see me where I am now. You see me where I am now, but you weren't there for the journey. You weren't there to hold my hands up. You weren't there to keep me encouraged, to boost my morale when it was low, to tell me not to quit, to tell me not to give up. And trust me, there's been moments and times that I've wanted to because I'm like, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe this isn't for me, but guess what? God puts people in your path and in your place that take the place. Blood isn't just family, or family isn't just blood. Family isn't just blood, and God has placed people in my life. And I think that's the biggest blessing with TikTok is I've met people all across the world, not just in one state and one city. It's all across the world, and sometimes we negate to see our blessings in the midst of all of that. Um, that are absolutely amazing people that I never would have came across in real life at all. So it's definitely a blessing, and those are my supporters, and they've become family. There have been bonds that have been formed that, in my eyes, can't be broken. Granted, some bonds have been broken, but they can't be broken. But when you unexpect the expected, I feel like it leaves less room for discouragement. And I know it may sound a little like a little negative. Of course, you want to pump yourself up. Of course, you want to pump yourself up. I don't know, y'all. I might just be a realist. I think I'm more of a realist than an optimist. I think maybe I'm a little bit of both. I am optimistic, but at the same time, I'm a realist. Maybe I'm optimistic with other people and real with myself. I don't know. But I am a realist. And within my lifespan, I've set expectations. I've expected things only to be let down, whether by myself or whether by other people. Um, and I know everyone says set the bar high, but do we set it too high to where we set ourselves up for failure? We sabotage our own success. We sabotage our own dreams and hopes. Do we do that? And I'm not trying to sound negative, but I like to say take it one day at a time. Set realistic goals. Expect realistic expectations. Unexpect the unrealistic expectations. And I know it's sad because, some of those expectations come with heartstrings. Kind of similar to relationships. Similar to relationships. A lot of times we go into relationships with these expectations of what this other person is going to be, what this other person is going to do, and we set ourselves up for failure. When it comes to relationships, I don't really carry too many expectations. I just expect you to treat me the same way that I'm going to treat you. Um Not really setting any other expectations. I know some people may look at that as if it's a negative. Um but for me, it's a positive. It's who I am because I don't want all those expectations set on me. That's stressful. I don't do well in stressful situations. So to me, that's stressful. If you put five expectations on me, I don't know. I might just walk away. I just might walk away. But if I unexpect the expected, but then is it also I can see where that can sound negative because even in the even in relationships, right? Like if you're in a relationship and you unexpect the expected, like I expect this relationship to go somewhere, but let me unexpect that expectation. No, I don't. Why be in a relationship, right? Why be in a relationship? I don't know, y'all. These are just some thoughts that are in my head. Like I said, I'm complicated. It's complicated, and yes, I am too. But it's a lot of complicated thoughts. It's a lot of complicated thoughts. And I'm just talking. I'm not reading off a script. I'm not doing anything like that. These are just thoughts that are coming into my head, except for the the subject of the episode, Unexpecting the Expected. That I have had in my thoughts for a couple of days and I've been trying to record it. Um but I feel like there's so many different factors that can go into this. It all depends. It all depends. I want to know y'all's thoughts. I want to know y'all's thoughts. Do you expect the unexpected or do you unexpect the expected? Does it make sense? I don't know. It does to me in my head, the way that I have it. You ever have those moments where it makes sense in your head, but when it comes out your mouth, people look at you like you got two heads? I do. One of them makes sense and the other one is confused. So I'm trying to intermingle the two, and it's hard to get them to cross paths. So I don't know. I might need a little help with this one. But I look. I live by that. I unexpect the expected. I do. I expect people to act a certain way. I expect certain things to happen because for me, going through life, it's been proven through history. So, I mean, I could probably tell you what people are going to do before they do it or what's going to happen before it happens. Just off of reading situations, reading people. I can pretty much tell you what's going to happen. And I like to say it's been a little on point. It's been a little on point. But I feel like when you go into something, just having an attitude of what's gonna be will be. What is gonna be will be. And don't try to force it. Don't try to force anything. And regardless of who supports you, who doesn't support you, keep doing. Keep doing, keep stepping forward, keep moving forward, keep putting one foot in front of the other. Don't be discouraged. Don't allow anyone to dim your light. Keep shining bright, being you, and it'll pay off. It'll pay off. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. But I appreciate you guys for listening to my rant this morning. Thank y'all. And no, it's not morning, but for me, I say good morning all the time because it's more difficult to figure out what time of day it is than to just say good morning. It's always morning somewhere in the world. So there we go. But y'all have a blessed day. Have a blessed day on purpose. Till next time.